Welcome to the Fight Guys, the place to go if you love violence or the people who are experts at it. As always, I'm your host, Erik Apple, and this week we have another good friend, former Shuto champion, Strikeforce champion, the founder of American Jiu-Jitsu, none other than Jake Shields. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Apple. I've been friends for 15, 20 years?
At least, yeah. It's pretty cool.
Time.
We're still here doing stuff?
Yep, still in the industry.
We're hanging in there.
Hanging in there, still hanging in.
What championships did I miss? Shuto, Strikeforce. I'm sure there's others.
Strikeforce, EliteXC.
EliteXC, damn it.
I think I was like a two-time Rumble in the Rock champion too. Forgot about that one.
You would think I would remember the EliteXC one, considering I fought there too, but I forgot that one.
Rumble in the Rock was big at the time too. That's what sucks. All these shows were like massive, and they all collapsed. So it's like, damn it, people don't remember.
Because that was a tournament you fought, right? And did you fight 3 times in one night?
Two in one night, but it was about one time that we had 2 in the same night. Even that sucks, dude. Fighting 2 times in a night, because I had Yushin Okami first round, and it was a fucking tough fight. And then I fought what's his name, Carlos Condit right after, and he had like a 1-minute fight, and 2 just tough ass dudes.
Yeah, it's super cool. I mean, kind of looking back, like we say that kind of stuff, and like, oh man, that was hard. But like, it's cool, like, right? It's cool. The venues we fought at, the places we fought at, and kind of like the rule situations.
Oh yeah, because we were in the days when, I had a couple bare-knuckle fights. Those days when they had less rules. I can't remember the exact rules, but I know there are some less rules in the UFC today. And fighting in Japan, they got face stomps, shit like that. All these different rule sets, ring, cage. It's cool having like done it all these different promotions all around the world. And we watched the rise of the sport, because when I first started, no one hardly fucking watched it. Everyone would be like, wait, what do you do? And now it's a big, massive, multi-billion-dollar industry. So pretty cool to watch the change.
You remember like around 2000, 2002, you told people you fought, they thought we were weird.
Yeah. And they'd be like, what? Like pro wrestling? Or like they didn't even know what it was.
They thought something was wrong with you.
I mean, I think there was something wrong with us.
Yeah, that's true. That also. Can you imagine the amount of money that we would have made if we would have been as successful today as we were then?
Yeah, we're fortunate. We're the guys that still made some decent money. I think we are underpaid, but I think a lot of guys think we're more underpaid than we are. Between we're making good sponsorship money. I mean, you helped me with some of that. So we were getting, Strikeforce was paying really, really well. So it wasn't that underpaid. There was just the UFC lawsuit, which is, I shouldn't say that because everyone's gonna be asking me to borrow some money.
Well, tell me about, your involvement with MMA now. You've been living in Vegas for a couple of years. I know you've been coaching guys at Extreme Couture, part-time. I know one of them was going to be competing this weekend. That's Patchy Mix.
Yeah, Patchy's really good. He's extremely talented. Fortunately, his UFC debut, he didn't have a great fight. I think he had awful weight cut. He had short notice. He's a really big 35-pounder. But he just felt, had to take the fight. He's a grappler. That fight, he did full stand-up. I think, as you know, the fighters did the most exciting, and Patchy just went in there and did a striking fight. Still ended up being a close fight, but I think
it was close.
It wasn't his. Yeah, it was a tough opponent and a tough fight. So I'm not like trying to like bash the guy he's fighting. I think it just wasn't Patchy's greatest performance either. I think we're going to see a different fighter coming in on UFC 320.
Well, I mean, like I said, you've been in Vegas for a couple of years. You're helping Patchy a little bit. Are you helping just like kind of a bunch of guys, a little bit of Extreme Couture?
Yeah, I can help a bunch of guys a little bit. I'm not really a full-time coach. It takes so much energy to do that. And it's like I don't really have the time and energy because there's not that much money in coaching, as you know. So I do it more for like a passion. So I come in, help guys out here or there. But if you're coaching full-time, man, that's a lot of work, traveling with the guys, doing all this for very little money. You might get lucky and have 1 or 2 guys make money, but for the most part, you're running around for $1,000, traveling out, for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. It's just, I'm too busy with other stuff. I love the coaching and I'll corner guys here and there, but I just don't have the time to put all my energy into it. Like I was coaching the Basharab brothers, it's their head coach, 2 phenomenal guys. And they moved to Miami and people are like, oh, are you upset? And it's like, no, because I couldn't give them my full training. We're still super close, but I understand, if I'm realistically, I was only a part-time coach to them, training 2-3 days a week. So I couldn't expect them to, to stay under me when I'm only able to give them part-time training.
So I imagine you're just helping guys that you like feel some kind of relationship with, people you want to help.
Exactly. 100%. If I don't like a guy, I'm not going to train with them. I'm not doing it for the money, if I coach a guy in a big fight and a little bit of money here and there, I make a little extra money from coaching, but it's not my primary, it's source of income. That makes you start hating it. I think if you're a coach and your primary source of income, that makes you start hating it. You're chasing these guys around, trying to get paid. Fighters aren't paid that good. And then you look, most of them have 3 or 4 coaches. So it gets tricky to make money. It just makes you start hating it. I see a lot of the full-time coaches are just like, they're frustrated because, they're underpaid. But then from the fighter's perspective, if you have 2 or 3 coaches, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's
now,
very tricky.
On the other end of the spectrum, your Fight Back podcast has exploded with popularity. It's been relatively controversial, which I get a kick out of.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But, I mean, did you expect growth this quick?
I did because, I had a big platform on Twitter and stuff. And I'm the kind of person, anything I do, I expect to be successful at it. I come in with that approach, and I put a lot of energy to it. I've been working on it for like a year, and it's like, I do work hard on it. It's not like I just half-ass it. So it's not going to grow if you half-ass it, but I put energy to it. I have big networks. I've been able to get a lot of famous guests. That helps tremendously. And I do some fighting on there, but it's more politics, probably like 70-30. I wouldn't mind maybe eventually switching it to 50-50, or, probably splitting 2 podcasts would be the smart idea.
Yeah, you remember we talked about creating just a whole nother channel, one that won't ever be demonetized.
That's probably the smart move, to have a separate channel. It'll be easier to get sponsors. Surprisingly, though, I still do get sponsors. I think, people don't shy away from controversy as much as they used to.
Yeah, speaking of controversy, I'm not super informed on this subject, but I see it all over social media, is your relationship with Derek Moneyberg. Tell me a little bit about that guy.
Yeah,
he seems funny.
No, I think that's actually hilarious because I've been so critical of Israel. People think I hate Jews. Derek Moneyberg's a Jew is the funny part of it. And I have a great relationship with him. I've trained him as his head coach for like almost 4 years now. The guy's fucking good. Like, people like give him shit because he's, he actually arrogant, mouths off. But he takes privates from the best trainers in the world for, if you're doing that for 4 years, obviously you're going to get better a lot quicker. And he takes, almost every day, he does like 3 hours of privates. He's bringing in Gordon Ryan, was bringing in Mikey Musumeci, but they had a little falling out. Gilbert Burns, all these top guys at his house nonstop. So of course you're going to get good faster.
Does he have a nice training facility at home?
Oh yeah. He built a full sick, gym. He's got gyms here, Vegas. He's back and forth from here to here, Vegas. He's got Chicago sometimes. He's got a facility out there at his headquarters. So he's constantly training, and people just get upset, but he put in the hours with good people. So it's like, of course you're going to get better. Everyone's like throwing a fit. They gave him a black belt too quick, but it's like, dude, this guy, all the people talking shit I've trained with, he'll fuck these guys up.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask you is, now, obviously, you've been a black belt in jiu-jitsu a very long time. You have your own style of jiu-jitsu called American Jiu-Jitsu. You've helped guys like the entire scrap pack your whole life or half your life. Tell me what qualifies someone, and I don't have an opinion on this. I want to know what you say. What qualifies somebody for a black belt? Is it a knowledge of a certain amount of techniques, both escapes, attacks, guard passes, finishes, or is it a combination of that as well as your sparring?
Yeah, it's both. It's a combination, and different people are judged differently. If Derek was a 22-year-old competition guy, I probably wouldn't have given him his black belt quite yet. But he's a 46-year-old businessman, and his knowledge was there. He had all the moves. He's been, sparring. The one thing he's lacking is, a little more hard sparring, but he does go pretty hard, and he has world champions out there nonstop. And I've seen him do well with guys. People are like, oh, just post footage, but you can't post footage if he taps out a UFC guy. That's going to like embarrass the guy. So people are like, well, why don't you post footage? Is that really
happening? He's tapping current UFC guys?
Yes. I've seen him tap UFC guys. I'm not going to like give any names because that's disrespectful, but that's
sure.
Because when he asked for his black belt, he told me give a criteria, and that was one of the things. He named some names to tap. I'm thinking like, okay, buddy, you're. I kind of laughed at him and mocked him, and I gave him some criteria, and then he hit all the criteria. So what am I going to do? Not give him the belt when he excels at that level? He's a big guy too. People realize he's like a big. He doesn't look it, but he's strong as shit. So that makes a difference. He's like a heavyweight.
Is he pretty strong? He has old man strength.
Yeah, crazy strength. He lifts all the time. Trains.
I say old man, but he's like our age.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's our age, and he's like. He's made a shitload of money in the stock market. So he still works a lot, but he has a schedule where he can train like 4 or 5 hours a day. He's training like a top pro because you're rich as shit. You can fly all the top guys out there. So of course you're going to get better faster. It's weird the controversy that caused. I thought there'd be a little bit of it's like the biggest controversy in jiu-jitsu. People
are so butthurt about it. I think it's funny. And I'm like, you guys,
it's ridiculous.
I laugh. I know people who have brought it up to me. And I was like, you guys think you know more than Jake? Like, shut the fuck up.
It's just nonstop. Even Gordon on Joe Rogan, they're bringing it up. And Gordon's just like, bro, the guy's like, the way Gordon puts it, hey, the average black belt sucks. So if you think this guy can't be the average black belt, you're delusional. Like if I train the average black belt and Gordon trains the average black belt, then we train with Derek. Derek gives me a lot more fucking trouble. I actually haven't watched him and Gordon train. I introduced him, I haven't watched him train. But Derek's a lot more trouble for me than the typical black belt I train with. These guys, literally, these guys are talking shit about him. I've trained with some of these guys. I've trained with Derek, and Derek would smash all the guys I see talking shit.
Okay, that's awesome.
He actually called Sean Strickland out to a match, but
I saw.
They were training at Pereira's, both as a guest, and Sean came up talking shit, and then he's like, "Hey, let's go train right now." And Sean didn't show up to the workout.
Does Pereira has his own facility in Vegas?
No, he is at Glover Teixeira's gym, I believe.
Oh, in Connecticut.
Yeah, and Glover helps train Derek as well, so he came out as a guest of Glover during the camp. That's what sucks, that Sean would start shit in the middle of someone else's camp. So it put Derek in an awkward position. But Derek was smart and respectful and did the right thing and just kind of like bounced and ignored it and left. I'm like, yeah, don't create any drama during Pereira's training camp.
Yeah. Now tell me, you're at Extreme Couture quite a bit, and Strickland is there as well. How is interacting with him? Because my interactions with him, I think the guy's pretty funny.
No, he's funny. We mostly got along. What sucks that we got like fighting over this Derek shit. It's like I tried telling him, like, I told Strickland.
Mad at you about it?
I mean, we got into beef a little bit because they're fighting. And just like, Sean, just go train with Derek. But instead, he wants to go and talk shit and get clicks. I like Sean, but he's always like after the viral moment. Like
he's always putting on a show. Like he has to always be like thinks he's always on camera or something. Have you ever heard him corner anybody?
I haven't. He's talking mad shit or what?
Bro, this is me talking. It is the funniest shit I ever heard. He just constantly is insulting his fighter's opponent the whole round. It's so funny, dude. It's overwhelming. That's
what I did. It's like embarrassing, but also funny. The Nate Diaz Connor, the first fight, the whole second round, I just like stopped coaching Nate, just talking shit to Connor. It's like kind of embarrassing, kind of funny, because I remember John Donaher was making fun of me for it. But he's actually it was kind of working, because you see Connor looking over at you a couple times like, fuck. So I'm just like, oh, you're getting tired, bitch. When John was playing that to me, I was so embarrassed. But then afterwards we were laughing, being like, okay, it's not that bad.
Yeah. How funny is it to think that, you were probably, or most likely, considered the leader of the scrap pack. And then after everyone's fighting career has kind of died down, I mean, Nate and Nick have become the faces of it, or the more well-known of the two. It's interesting how their fame seems to have come from, almost a lot of it's come from outside of fighting.
Yeah, somehow both of them, but Nick particularly really transcended fighting somehow, which I don't know how, but I'm extremely happy for him. He just something with his attitude. People just love like the Stockton, the fuck you, the way he carries himself, and he's transcended fighting to be like a mainstream celebrity. Yeah. He's insanely famous. When you hang out with him, it's like fucking annoying because people are just like hounding you. You're just like, go away. But he's handled it really well. Like I still see Nate all the time. We were just in Hawaii together. He's still the same dude, wants a few more fights, still out there fucking beating ass. And
is Nick still in Baja in a facility down there?
I don't really want to talk about that.
You're not supposed to say where he is?
Yeah, I don't really want to I'm not really sure what's out, what's not. I just try not to.
All good. Yeah,
we're close. It's one of those weird topics I try to avoid.
Everyone out there knows that you and I want nothing but the best for Nick, 1,000%.
Exactly. That's why I said I don't really like talking about the subject. It's one of those it's a bit too close to him. So
okay, all good. You tell me later.
Yeah, we talk
let's talk about 320 a little bit before we wrap up. The three main fights: Yuri Prochazka and Khalil Roundtree. I think that's pretty interesting. Do you?
Yeah, I think it's a good card. I love all three of the three main last fights. I think there's some other good fights in the card too. I think it's a great card. Khalil and Yuri. I'm gonna go with Yuri, but it's a very interesting competitive fight.
I don't think it'll be that tough for Yuri. I think that'll be easier than people think. He's too big, too lengthy. And I think Khalil's too open to damage. He just accepts too many shots. Do you agree?
No, I kind of do. That's why I'm picking him. I think the hands are better with him. I think he can kind of pick him apart. I think he's got better cardio. I think he's in and out with those explosives, hard to read, crazy rhythm. Khalil gets a little more of a Muay Thai rhythm where you can kind of read it. But I could see him, if he picks apart the legs, that's his best shot. Legs, knees. I think Khalil's got a shot, but I'm definitely picking Yuri.
Yeah. And do you think Corey Sanhagen he has any sort of a shot against Morab? Because I don't.
I mean, of course he has a shot, but even if the biting odds are 3-1, I think I would bet on Morab if I bet on it. And
I mean, I can't imagine.
I usually don't take big favors like that, but like if I bet in that fight, I might put him in a parlay because Morab is just a beast right now.
I mean, talk about it real quick. Give me a 30-second, answer to this. Explain to people how MMA fighters who didn't wrestle growing up and they train a ton of wrestling now, it just doesn't matter if you're fighting someone who wrestled their whole life.
Mm-hmm. But Morab's a little different than anyone else because he shoots over and over and over and doesn't get tired. Most wrestlers don't do that. A lot of these guys switch from wrestling and they're doing too much stand-up. The wrestling goes downhill. Morab just shoots over and over and over. And that makes him start hitting you with his punches because you're so worried about the shot. And he just goes forwards. I think Corey's best shot is to lots of movement, stay away, use his reach, jab, leg kicks, body kicks, try to get up right away. Potentially go into a leg lock or triangle, but it's a tough fight. Definitely picking Morab. Morab is on one of the craziest runs right now, just running through people.
Can you explain the short version of why? Like, you can pick up jiu-jitsu later in life and be good enough to not get submitted. You may not out-grapple someone, but you can defend. You can, a guy who's a really good grappler can learn to kickbox enough to survive. But why can't you learn to wrestle later on in life enough to stop a takedown?
There's no real wrestling schools that wrestle at the same intensity that like the high school and college wrestling does. It's like such an intense sport. And it's like lots of these guys have done it from years. Like a lot of these guys you'll see have done it from like 5 or 6 years old to like 20 or 22. So there's just so many years of wrestling and it's really hard to learn that. I mean, you do see guys getting better at it that didn't go to college and stuff to wrestle, but it's fucking hard. It's one of the hardest things to match. And no one wants to do it. Like no one wants to go and wrestle if you haven't done it in college. It's not fun. Yeah, there's nothing fun about wrestling. That's why there's not wrestling schools. No one's going to open a wrestling school. They open a jiu-jitsu academy. That's like fun.
Okay, and the main event, Ankala Petta II. Do you think that Petta has a chance?
I do. I think he's. I think it's not a bad bet because he's almost 2-1 underdog.
Yeah.
I think he's got a ton of power. The last fight he had fought 3 times in 6 months, and that's too many for those big main event type fights. I think he was burnt out. He looked tired. He looked flat. He didn't look like himself. Ankalaev does move great. He's hard to hit. He hops around, better wrestling. So I'm not saying Prayer is going to smoke him, but he's got a shot. I think he's like a 2-1 underdog. So I placed a little money on that just because I kind of like the odds.
Everybody loves Petta, so I think 80% of people are cheering for him, right? They want to see they like to see finishes.
Exactly. Want to see the big knockout. And it's like, I like Ankalaev, but it's hard to relate when the English isn't good. It's like, it's hard for Americans. Sure.
I mean, that matters. It definitely matters for people relating to him and wanting to cheer for him. For sure.
Prayer isn't either, but something about him is just like, he can barely speak English too, but he's just like more
it's like almost cooler.
Yeah. He's like a cooler, like mean, scary, that hook. He comes in kind of like just a scary ass dude. I've hung out with him a couple of times. Doesn't really speak English, but he's just carries himself like a fucking badass, but he's like super polite and stuff as well. Like scary, but he's extremely polite. He's not rude in any way, but you can tell he's not a dude you want to fuck with.
Well, Jake, stoked to have you on the show. Maybe someday I can be on the Fight Back.
Yeah, we can do it. We can get all kinds of controversial shit and talk about good old.
I'll get into it with you. I love it.
Perfect.
All right.
Good talking.
For everyone in the comments, remember the best comment wins a Fight Guys t-shirt. So leave your comments. We'll pick you. We'll hit you up. For Jake Shields, I'm Erik Apple. Thanks for joining the Fight Guys. We'll see you next week.